This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, January 24th, 2010, and this is episode 673 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodgford of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, January is quickly moving along here, and football season's over, and your Steelers, I hate to say, were eliminated a long time ago. So what keeps Len Testa going these times of the year?
Bitter memories, Matt. In fact, I took a vow of revenge. It's a long story, but anyway.
Got it.
I mean, hope springs eternal. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yeah, I'm just plugging along for another day, Matt. How's that?
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Len, all I'm going to say is 45 days till pitchers and catchers.
I'm not a baseball fan. It's just that. I know you are.
Communist.
It's just not. It was funny. Is one of my best friends from college is a baseball agent. He represents people in the major leagues, and so he loved baseball, and I just never really got into it. But he was amazing.
You should cut your hair and get a job, hippie.
He actually get a haircut today.
Also joining us on today's show is Annette Owens, the Manager of Customer Relations and Group Services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, all this talk of sports. Hey, Tent Fest, and isn't that spring training at the same time?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Coincidence?
Coincidence?
I don't think so.
I think not.
Yeah, that's right.
I have to catch a ball game.
Take me out to the ball.
You know what's funny? You guys, and it's going to catch a ball game. I just finished reading New Moon, the second book in the Twilight series.
Oh,
so weird.
really?
God.
Really?
Really?
Oh my-
What?
Really?
They're great. Those are great books.
What are you,
For
a
12-year-olds?
16-year-old girl?
It's a great love story. Have you in a soul? I love. I read Twilight. I thought Twilight was one of the best books I've read in a long time. I never read fiction anymore, but
I have a soul. I keep it in a box in the closet. It's really nice. Well, on today's show, we have a topic to discuss that's one of our listeners brought up. It's kind of interesting. The listener is Chris Trowick, who writes, what's the unspoken reasoning behind you guys making no mention of the Grand Floridian as a resort someone might actually want to stay in? There is an unspoken, untold story that you're not sharing. What is it? And I guess what Chris is getting at is that, be it a listener question show, be it almost any other type of show,
we never recommend.
We never recommend
Grand
it.
Floridian.
And I think we all have different reasons for it. Len, when I read that email from Chris there, what came to mind?
I've stayed there a couple of times. It was the resort that we stayed at with Hannah's first trip. I took Hannah back there when we were doing concierge reviews, and I stayed there a couple other times for the guide as well. I mean, in my opinion, it's this. The hotel is. I mean, certainly it's pretty. It's a pretty hotel. The new rooms, by the way, the renovations that they've done since 2008 have improved the room quality, including the lighting. I think it's just so overpriced for the feel of the resort. It's not a comfortable, casual on vacation type of feel to me, and it's just so expensive. It's anywhere from $25 to more than $100 more expensive than the Polynesian for the same resort season. And I love the Polynesian.
Yeah.
I just think everything's just a little more formal at the Grand Floridian. Even whether it's the furnishings, stuffy. Perseverance. Having the piano there in the lobby in the afternoon is great because I like to take a nap I like to nap in public, let's face it. And who doesn't, right? That's really nice. And I like the look of the resort. I really like the pools. I think the pools are good. But the character dining is loud and noisy, and it's hard to get into. And the restaurants are all just like a little bit more formal or structured than I need. Even the tea, right? I would never sit down at the tea. I've never actually sampled the afternoon tea at the Grand Floridian. Mm-hmm. I would love to go do it just to try one of every type of sandwich. We should totally do this, by the way, for Tent Fest.
Oh yeah, total.
Tent Fest and tea, that goes together.
Tent Fest and tea.
And NASCAR.
And NASCAR. But see, this is the thing we're joking about. It's just not us, is it?
We can show up
That's
there.
it.
It's just not us.
Yeah, we'll just
We're a NASCAR tequila swilling, and the tea thing. I'd like to try it, but it just it's just not the kind of thing that I would normally do, and that's why I don't like it.
Well, going back to your main point there, Len, about the price, and I totally agree with you. I just don't find the price is worth what you're getting over there, because the price is artificially inflated. It's kind of like the ruble circa 1988. It's artificially
$1 for no reason. Yeah,
right. It's just set that way because it's simply the flagship resort at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And given spending the money, I would rather spend the money at definitely the Polynesian and even the Contemporary now, especially with Bay Lake Tower.
Yeah.
I just don't see the reason why I would want to spend the money for the Grand Floridian. I mean, the Polynesian or Contemporary both offer you the same sort of great access to the Magic Kingdom, the monorail, lots of great, wonderful on-resort amenities. I just don't see the benefit. Why I should spend that extra money for that, in addition to the fact that the theme doesn't really do much for me. And Len, you mentioned some things in terms of it being a little too classy, not classy, but you know what I mean.
Classy.
a little more structured, a little
too
more
structured, right? And for me, I just don't. I Turn to the Century Florida doesn't really do a whole lot for me. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, it's nice, but I just it doesn't speak to me the same way that the Contemporary does, the same way that the Polynesian does, the same way that Animal Kingdom Lodge does, Wilderness Lodge. Len, what would you peg it in terms of preference? I mean, I would put I would say it's got to be at least of deluxe resorts.
So it depends on if we're including price then too. Yeah, I mean, in fact, it is actually. It's the one that I visit the least. It's the one I visit when I have to.
Right.
I don't normally stay there voluntarily. I mean, it's not that bad. But here's the thing. I mean, for me, it's the thing that galls me is that for the amount of money you're paying. I think I've told the story before. I had a minor thing that I had to go to concierge for the Grand Floridian when I was there with my daughter, and they couldn't handle it. And it's not that they couldn't handle it because it was an impossible thing that I was asking for. I was asking for a costume to be exchanged. My daughter bought a princess costume. I just needed it one size bigger. They wouldn't do it at a concierge level. Now, let me put that in perspective. Concierge level at the Grand Floridian, the club level rooms at the Grand Floridian start at 5:30 a night and go to 8:55 a night. 530 to 8:55 a night. I was there.
That's a week at Pop.
I was there for a week.
Wow.
So I wanted a dress exchange. The only possible acceptable answer was, "What size did you want that again?" Right.
Right.
Why would you not? I mean, and they didn't do it, and they didn't do it because I understand why. Disney's club level or concierge service isn't like the concierge at another hotel. I guarantee you, if you go outside of Walt Disney World, had I gone to the Waldorf Astoria, had I gone to the Ritz-Carlton and asked, "Hey, I need this thing exchanged. Can you do it?" Somebody would have done it, no doubt.
Right.
Nobody else is finding it funny that Len needs a dress exchanged.
Well,
I know,
but
but you said the way you said, forget it.
Oh, it was funny. So I was actually getting Hannah's. We got Hannah's Halloween costume when we were there in December. Because they were on sale, and click, 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 click.
Sorry.
And they didn't have the. we're in the Main Street Emporium, and Hannah wanted to dress up as Belle, but they didn't have her size. So all they had were like for tiny kids, and Hannah will be 12, right? So it went up to the attendant. It was really crowded, and I was trying to find Hannah. So I gave her the small dress, and I said, "What's the largest size dress you have this in?" And the woman looked at me and she said, "For you?"
And is there a problem with that?
Hannah was with me, and I was kind of distracted. I was looking around, and I didn't say what's the largest girl size you had, because I was kind of like looking for Hannah in the crowd and stuff. What's the biggest one of these you have? She looked at me, "For you?" And don't judge me, Earl.
Anyway. You could dress up for Scopa.
What are your thoughts?
That is just wrong in so many ways.
Moving on.
I was leaving him alone there. Annette, what are your thoughts on the Grand Floridian?
Well, I have to say, I'm a lot like Lynn. Everybody has different expectations for what they're looking for to stay. So maybe just for our little group, maybe we're just not upper class. I don't know.
I just don't think. I mean, it's
the least expensive room is $410 a night, and it goes up to $685 for a regular room.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just-
garden
If I'm
view.
going to spend that money, I'm like you guys. I'd rather be at the Polynesian, the Contemporary. The theming just fits me better. I can see where there's maybe some certain situations with honeymoon couples really do like the Grand Floridian. They've seen it on TV. They've seen other people go there.
Still.
It's got that. But to me, it really is that when I stayed there, it was just it was a little frou-frou. I know y'all laugh at my words, but it was just a little too uptight for me.
yeah. I don't
It
think
felt
y'all-
like my grandma's bedroom. The way, everything was just antique looking. And the rooms are smaller. I mean, I would rather be in the Poly where I get a little more space and a little, I don't know.
Noel, have you ever stayed at the Grand Floridian?
No, I've never stayed there. And one of the reasons, like everybody's saying, even when I had business to be there, I never felt comfortable or welcome. I shouldn't say never welcome, but I've never felt comfortable. I've always felt like I'm being watched, and I don't belong there because I'm not, so highbrow, if you will.
Well, the other thing is,
Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, the other thing is, when you go to the Polynesian or you go to the Contemporary, you can park right at the resort. At the Grand Floridian,
Yeah.
they send you across the street.
Yeah, that's another good reason. Absolutely.
Have you ever not felt welcome at the Polynesian?
No.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think. I think the everything about the Grand Floridian seems very arbitrary in terms of that it's set apart because it's like it's like the West Wing in Beauty and the Beast. It's forbidden. It's because it's the West Wing. It's exclusive, and they kind of try to do that, but really it's not like the rooms are better. It's not like the amenities are better. I think we could really sit here and compare. Go through all the different amenities and benefits that the Grand Floridian has and probably find just those same type of benefits and amenities at the Polynesian and/or Contemporary. To which it's like, well, then again, why are we paying so much for it, right? It's not like on a cruise ship where, you go through the different categories and you say, well, obviously a category 1, has amazing stuff. It does, it's got more square footage. It's got, more bathrooms. It's got more closet space than a category 5, than a category 7, than a category, you know what I mean? You can see, okay, I'm paying extra, but I'm getting this. And I think the root of this is that we're not seeing that at the Grand Floridian. It's just that it's like, well, it's that much more because it's the Grand Floridian. And I don't think that necessarily has sold any of us on that. Glenn, what are the in the unofficial guide, what do you have as listed as the negatives for? I know you have the little kind of quick rundown of the resorts, like the pros and cons of them.
Amazingly enough, somewhat formal is a weakness.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Cavernous impersonal lobby, overly large physical layout, children don't get the theme, imposing rather formal public areas, distant guest self-parking. Geez, I think we've covered everything around the only one on-site restaurant suitable for younger children. We really didn't talk about dining other than the tea thing.
I will say in defense, I really like Citricos.
I like Citricos a lot too, and I still haven't been to Narcoossee's, darn it.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, Tent Fest.
Yeah. But the
Victorian Albert.
Victorian Albert. I haven't been there either. I mean, Grand Floridian Cafe.
That was disappointing when I ate there one time.
Was it really? Because it looks like, some of the stuff looks pretty interesting. Although the Grand Floridian burger, which I get the whole Angus Chuck thing. Angus is the new cow.
Right.
But lobster? Who puts lobster in a burger? Again, what do you?
Eh.
What? Okay, here's the thing. Angus Chuck burger, lobster, asparagus and horseradish chive hollandaise sauce with tomato salad, $18.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm happy with Hardee's.
Hardee's okay. That's a bit much. We can, I think
Right after you do the cars, you can go to.
Hardee's.
Really, I look forward to Waffle House every Friday. There doesn't need to be lobster, and I really don't like hollandaise sauce.
I think the issue.
Like phlegm. Go ahead.
I ate there one time at the Grand Floridian Cafe, and it's just there's really no theme to it. It's a ritzy cafe that's expensive, and I don't know. I would rather spend the money either at Citricos or somewhere else. So that really didn't do much for me in that regard. I mean, but again, to your point, Len, the dining there ranges from good to just it's good. It's good, but unremarkable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like the ones it's certainly not those restaurants there that you see. Ooh, I definitely got to go eat there.
So here's my question: the New York Strip at the Grand Floridian, New York Strip is $28. Why is it $42 at the Yachtsman?
I would hope it was better quality beef.
Is it 50% better?
You'd have to ask the butcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only his butcher knows. All right. Cool. Anyway, but anyway, going back to the price. I mean, for that kind of money, dude, I'm running an offsite vacation home.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, and I think that I would really find it hard to say anyone who would defend the Grand Floridian. I would say, yeah, but the Polynesian, or yeah, but the Contemporary is just, has that or does that. And it'll be, you can save some cash on there and do everything else they're the same. I'm really trying to think of something the Grand Floridian offers that the other two monorail resorts do not offer. I mean, they both have all three have the same amount of on-site dining. They have multiple sit-down restaurants and counter service location. Good pools. I think the pool at the Polynesian is the best among the three.
I think so too. Yeah, I think probably of the three, the Contemporary probably loses out in terms of.
Oh, there is one thing. There's a spa at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, there's a spa, but you take the monorail over to it.
That's true. It's not that we don't like the Grand Floridian so much. It's that we just think there are better options out there. And that's really what, when we talk about almost anything on this podcast, we're always looking for what we think is the best option given the circumstances. And I think 9 out of 10 times we're going to find that the Polynesian or the Contemporary are the better option.
No, I think so.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Very good. Hope that answers the question over there. And thanks for writing it in. And don't forget that you can find our older episodes at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.